everyone. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving under the circumstances. I know not everybody was able to see their families, but I at least hope that, that you made the best of it and hung in there and all that good stuff. So I've been wanting to make this video for a while now, but it kind of got put on the back burner. But I recently got motivated to make this video after a heated discussion with my mom that kind of resulted in a fight, and it's been kind of stewing in my mind. And so I wanted to finally make this video. And it's about honesty and do people really want the truth? And this goes beyond current events and people being shut down left and right, the opposing side not wanting to hear the other one out. But in general, you know, ever since I was little, I kind of thought that, like, you know, honesty and truth was a very funny and basically like a situational thing rather than a moral value, because, you know, even if you're honest, sometimes you end up suffering more hefty consequences when you tell the truth than when you tell a lie, and that always got to me. So without further ado, I'm going to read from this just to make sure that I'm able to get these thoughts out. I figured it'd be easier to make a list because whenever I'm on a topic, my mind just always kind of kind of ends up all over the place, and I don't feel like I end up saying everything I need to say. So I'm just gonna try to read from this and make it a little bit easier. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so number one, I already went over number one for the most part. Number two, one of the most ironic traits about humanity is the fact that most, if not every person you meet will tell you without hesitation that they would rather be told the truth than told a lie. However, if actions truly speak louder than words, then that seems to spell out a lie right there. So when people hear the truth, I mean, the truth is rarely a painless and comfortable thing. And I'm sure that most of you have noticed that people are a lot, they prefer comfort over reality. When a woman asks her boyfriend or husband if what she's wearing makes her look fat or whatever, and if God forbid he's honest, he gets in a lot of trouble. But she did ask him for an honest answer. So if you ask for an honest answer, you gotta accept what the answer is, and it's not always going to be what you want it to be. Rarely will it ever be what you want it to be. So if you ask somebody for the truth, I mean, yeah, it is natural to be upset, but don't blame that person for giving you what you asked for. And I know that that's really difficult. And, like, you know, if a kid does something wrong and he tells the truth and it's still wrong, I'm not saying don't punish him. Like, he's just so funny. Because, like, you know, if he breaks something, or if it's something extreme, like, Mommy, I was playing with fire and I burned down the barn, you know, of course you're going to punish them. But you should also make a point to tell them that telling the truth was not the wrong thing to do. Because a lie might save your ass in that moment, but in the long run, it is going to eat at you. It's going to eat you alive, and eventually, when the truth does come out, you're going to be punished 3 times harder than you would if you were just upfront and honest to begin with. And I think that's what people seem to forget. I mean, we watch shows like Seinfeld that you know, they always lie and it gets worse and it snowballs, and like, yeah, like it is comical in that show, but in real life, the things that happen, like, you know, it's like, how much are you gonna take until you just say, fine, okay, this is what happened, I'm sorry. You know, yeah, you might look like an asshole, but at the same time, like, it does take a huge load off of your shoulders, and like, you're presented with the opportunity to make things, to at least try to make things right, and if nothing else, do things differently in the future, and not make a bigger mess out of a situation that, you know, where a lot of that, a lot of those repercussions could have been avoided. So, number 3, people have been taught how to accept lies from a very young age, all the while being told that they should not lie, that lying is wrong, and they are chastised for lying, but oftentimes you either get equal punishment or suffer harsher punishments for telling the truth. Thus, the line between right and wrong with the nature of lying becomes blurred throughout our lives. And so I did kind of already go over some of that with, like, the, you know, asking your boyfriend if your butt looks big wearing that dress, you know, or the kid messing up big and being honest and being punished and all that. But one of the things that I've noticed with learning about lying when you're young is, like, you know, when I was little, I always found the thought kind of overwhelming, with there being white lies, gray lies, and dark lies. You know, with like a white lie saying that somebody looks nice if they really look terrible. Or like, you know, if like, this is the only example I can really come up with off the top of my head. I know it's kind of depressing, but like, if somebody dies and you're told to keep it quiet and you're not honest with the person, oh, how's so and so doing? And you're like, oh, they're doing fine, you know, because their death wasn't supposed to come out yet. And then there's lies, like deliberately lying, like, no, I didn't steal that. You know, somebody else must have taken it, which is obviously like the dark lies. So like, when I was a kid, I was always kind of confused, because each situation is unique. And like, sometimes my gut would tell me it was wrong. Sometimes my gut would be like, okay, well, you know, I have to protect myself, so I'm going to lie. And so, like, you know, it does get complicated. And, you know, we always, even if we consciously know that honesty is the best policy, sometimes, you know, with certain people, especially like pathological liars, I've noticed a lot of pathological liars come from abusive homes, probably because they felt like they had to lie to protect themselves, because if they, you know, every time they told the truth, they would get their asses handed to them and get hurt. So like, they would lie just to not have to suffer that consequence, which is really sad. I'm not saying that it's okay to be a pathological liar. Like, that is a problem. That's not okay. Nobody should have to put up with a pathological liar. It's not an excuse, it's just an explanation. So I'm just putting that out there. But back to what I was thinking before. Oh, wait. I don't feel that that as a society that we have been taught how to handle the truth. I feel like by design they make it a lot easier to accept lies, because that's the only way that they can really continue to lie to us, because they always say that that we only get a very small percentage of the truth in the news. Sorry, it keeps distracting me. You distracting, Mommy? You dumped all your toys out. Now you're bored. He's being such a goober. He always throws all of his toys out of his pen and then he gets bored. I'm trying to have him run around the house today, but he just keeps getting into everything. And we haven't gone outside today because it's just way too cold. Plus I have way too much stuff to do around the house. I'm getting off topic. Okay, so I was saying, yes, we have not been told how, we haven't been taught how to accept the truth. And that's not an accident. It's not a coincidence. Oh yeah, so I was saying that we only get told such a small amount, and who even knows if that's true. But they wouldn't be able to get away with everything that they're doing if they were honest with us. And the whole reason that there even is such a thing as conspiracy theories, that's not only designed by the CIA, but they make it so easy to come up with just about anything because we're told so little and we see so much evidence that points to a bigger story, more to the story, an untold truth, or a truth that has been told but nobody dares to believe it or even like considers the possibility. You know, so and it's all really been to have it be exactly how it is right now with us being so divided because it's a lot easier to control people that are used to accepting lies than it is to control people that were conditioned to handle the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how much it hurts. Because, you know, every time, well, I can't really say every time. There actually was a time when I was a lot more willing to hear lies because it felt a lot more comfortable and you know they say that ignorance is bliss, but I think that that's only for those people that that can tolerate that nagging feeling in their gut that something's wrong, that they are being lied to. Because each and every one of us has an inner lie detector. You don't have to be psychic. You don't have to be an empath to have that. Every human has that. That's what we're born with. That is what helped us survive thousands of years ago before we had everything that we do now. And over time, that's become so dulled and dumbed down and diluted that we ignore it and we tend to label it as anxiety. I mean, you notice how many people, like everybody these days has anxiety. There's a reason for that. You have anxiety because deep down you know that something is wrong, that something is very wrong. You say, "Oh, what can we do about it?" Well, first of all, we need to stop jumping down each other's throats. We need to grow a pair, and we need to look at what we need to look at. We need to look at the hard, ugly truth, okay? Because continuing to lie and accept lies is not working anymore. It hasn't been working for a while, and now we have no choice but to actually open up our eyes and look at what's going on. Like, look at all the information despite how it makes you feel. Like, you know, when I was debating people before I really kind of knew how to be, what's the word for it? Okay, kind of. Well, when I started learning how to genuinely debate people, in a way that was fair and logical and ethical, you know, I had to look at both sides, even the opposing sides that I didn't agree with. And as much as I didn't agree with what I was reading, I felt like it was fair to look at what they were presenting to me, if I, you know, because I wanted them to do the same, and I think that both sides should do that. Look at the information. You don't have to agree with it. If you read it and you don't agree with it, nobody is forcing you. But you should at least hear people out, no matter how much you disagree with it, because the only way that we're going to compromise, negotiate, come to a conclusion is to be able to do that for each other. So I'm gonna end it here. I might make another video furthering the furthering the I can't talk today. Furthering this topic, but we'll see. So until next time, have a good one.